China's leader Xi Jinping has kicked off a tour of Southeast Asian countries, and he's focusing on Vietnam, hoping to win some diplomatic support against those new American tariffs. Our Southeast Asia correspondent Bill Birtles has the latest.
The Chinese leader was welcomed to the Vietnamese capital Hanoi with a very well organised group of supporters waving huge Chinese flags. This is a state visit between the leaders of two communist nations, so a lot of socialist symbolism on display, but this trip is well and truly being overshadowed by US tariffs. China has been particularly singled out with a combined tariff of up to 145% on most, not all, but most goods heading to the United States. But unlike the first Trump term, this time China has company, with countries in the region also facing the threat of relatively high tariffs. In Vietnam, for example, that rate will be 46% if the Vietnamese government can't cut a deal over the next few months with the US to reduce the trade barriers it has on American imports. So you can see why for Xi Jinping this is a bit of a golden opportunity. He's trying to build a bit of an informal coalition of nations to collectively push back against those American tariffs. The analysts say he won't have it that easy because in Southeast Asia there's been growing concern about cheap Chinese goods flooding local markets and putting manufacturers out of business. So if there's any thought that China might divert some of those products that were going to the US to its closer neighbouring markets, then that might cause some concern as well. Now, after Vietnam, Xi Jinping will go on to Malaysia, a country facing the threat of a 24% tariff, and then to Cambodia, a nation facing up to 49% tariffs on their exports to the US if they can't cut a deal. What will be particularly interesting there is that Cambodia also had many USAID programs which have been cut back or slashed by the Trump administration. Worth watching to see whether Xi Jinping signs any deals that indicate China might be moving in to replace the US in that aid space.